Breaking news in the last few moments. It has been confirmed that 3 US service members have been killed and 5 seriously wounded in action as part of operations in Iran. Now, this comes as Iran's Revolutionary Guards say that they attacked the American aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln in the Gulf after US and Israeli strikes killed the country's supreme leader. Now, the United States military says that it has sunk an Iranian vessel in the Gulf of Oman. And in a statement, officials say that the ship is currently sinking to the bottom of the Gulf of Oman. Earlier this afternoon, Israel confirmed the death of 9 of its citizens following an Iranian ballistic missile strike on the town of Bet Shemesh. And in the meantime, President Donald Trump has this morning threatened to hit Iran with what he calls unprecedented force. His warning comes after Tehran vowed to escalate retaliation for the killing of the Ayatollah Khamenei. Now, the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, have continued to carry out strikes on military sites across Iran. That includes a massive blast in Tehran, and the army announced that it had dropped over 1,200 pieces of munitions in just over 24 hours. Iranian officials are scrambling to reassert control. Ahmed Vahidi, pictured on the left, has been named the new commander-in-chief of Iran's Revolutionary Guard. Ayatollah Arafi has been appointed temporary supreme leader. And earlier this afternoon, Downing Street confirmed that the Prime Minister Keir Starmer held a call with the King of Bahrain, the Crown Prince of Kuwait and the King of Jordan this morning. He reiterated that the UK has had planes in the sky since yesterday as part of the coordinated defence response. Now, elsewhere, 1 British expat has been wounded in Oman after the Duqm port was targeted by Iranian drones. And last night, scenes of jubilation filled the streets of Tehran after an end to the reign of the man who has ruled Iran with an iron fist for decades. Iran has unleashed a wave of missile and drone attacks across the region, striking American allies and US military targets in Dubai, Doha, Manama, and also Kuwait City. And these were the scenes in Dubai last night, where 1 person has been confirmed killed and 11 injured following attacks on airports in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Well, joining me now is GB News' national reporter Charlie Peters.
נפילה לפני כמה דקות, תראו את ההרס. מחפשים לכודים פה. יש חבר'ה במקלט, יש אנשים במקלט. פה למטה, במדרגות. פינוי ספר תורה. פרמדיק. לא יהיה מחמאות הפגורה בדקת אחרת.
They added that major combat operations continue and our response effort is also ongoing. They also said that the situation is fluid and so out of respect for the families, they will withhold additional information, including the identities of our fallen warriors, until 24 hours after next of kin have been notified. That is a typical tactic and procedure when there has been a loss of life in one of these wartime operations. In the British military is called Operation Minimise. There's a 24-hour silence period to reduce any information being leaked out of the forward operating base or any other place where the British military is deployed. CENTCOM here, the US side, announcing that they are adopting that procedure now for those. Just said that the situation is fluid and so out of respect for the families, they will withhold additional information, including the identities of our fallen warriors, until 24 hours after next of kin have been notified. That is a typical tactic and procedure when there has been a loss of life in one of these on one of these wartime operations in the British military is called Operation Minimise. There's a 24-hour silence period to reduce any information being leaked out of the forward operating base or any other place where the British military is deployed. CENTCOM here, the US side, announcing that they are adopting that procedure now for those US service personnel who've been killed. We can't say how they were killed or what area they were in during this operation. We have seen strikes on several US bases throughout the Middle East in retaliation for those strikes early yesterday morning. We can also tell you as well that there has been this indication from the United States. They claim that they have also sank an Iranian ship to the bottom of the Gulf of Oman. This also coming out of CENTCOM, saying that it sank the Iranian Navy Jamaran-class corvette during the opening strikes of that operation yesterday. Some satellite imagery from a company called Vantor, which was uploaded online yesterday, appeared to show the heavy black smoke rising from the Iranian Navy's Konarak base following those strikes yesterday morning, and the US CENTCOM now saying that they have sank that Iranian ship. We've also had a report coming out from AFP, the news aggregator there, Saudi Arabia claiming to have intercepted Iranian missiles targeting Riyadh's international airport and the Prince Sultan airbase, an airbase which has hosted coalition Western forces in the past, where Western training is conducted for air defences. This source, speaking to AFP, said that those air defences successfully intercepted Iranian missiles near Riyadh airport and that airbase on Sunday afternoon. So ongoing Iranian retaliation. It's been extraordinary, Nana, to see the number of Arab countries hit, not military areas, but also civilian, residential, infrastructure areas. And while there's been much discussion about the legality and the international humanitarian aspect of the American and Israeli strikes, similar questions need to be posed, of course, to Iranian strikes on civil defence areas, on infrastructure, on civilian areas, which of course would be a breach of the law of armed conflict, a total failure to distinguish between combatants and civilians, and clearly obviously failing the proportionality test of any law of armed conflict. We can also bring you an update of further retaliations from Iranian missile strikes in northern Israel. The sirens have been sounding there, Nana. I think I can also bring you a further update from the IDF. They've now said that they've initiated a fresh wave of strikes in the heart of Tehran. That's been issued to us just at the start of this hour. The Israeli Air Force saying they've initiated a new wave of strikes in Tehran, and some interception attempts are ongoing, but that's the latest update we have from them. We have also, Nana, had a claim from the Iranian military that the carrier strike group, the main aircraft carrier off the coast of Iran, that is the Abraham Lincoln, the Iranians said that they've hit it. We have just had some breaking news here from the US military, from CENTCOM again, now saying that its carrier was not hit by Iran, adding that missiles that were launched towards them didn't even come close. Now that comes after the Iranians had claimed that they had hit the USS Abraham Lincoln, but we've just had that update from CENTCOM, very much disputing that claim. Further to that point I just made about these strikes on northern Israel, we're now hearing from the IDF Home Command that civilians in those areas have not been injured in the latest Iranian missile attack in the north of Israel. The IDF Home Front Command says that civilians in those areas should now leave bomb shelters but remain close to them, but yet no injuries from those latest rounds of Iranian missile strikes. So that is the latest situation as we find it, Nana. An ongoing exchange of missile fire and airstrikes between Israel and Iran. We're now having further confirmation of the naval battle here as well. Claims from Iran rejected by the US that its main carrier hasn't been hit. They're saying that is not the case. They didn't even come close. And we've also had that corvette image of the Jamaran class corvette being is sinking to the bottom of the Gulf of Oman at the Chabahar Pier. That's from US Central Command. So very much still an ongoing, very kinetic battle space, Nana.
All right, Charlie. Right, let's get the former Deputy Speaker of the Israeli Knesset, Moshe Riglin, on very shortly. But I'm just wondering, with all of this going on, how unstable this makes the Middle East.
Tremendously unstable. I mean, I think what's been remarkable to that point, Nana, is how quickly so many Arab nations who have previously been very distant from one another have locked arms, shared resources to resist this Iranian strike. There was much commentary yesterday about how October the 7th might have been a tremendous tactical success for Hamas and the wider Iran-backed world. It was an awful strategic failure from their perspective, because it has now led to this scenario where the Ayatollah is dead and the Arab world has B-2 bombers, those stealth bombers, the most sophisticated bombers in the world, struck those nuclear facilities. They were reused again, and that's according to Fox News distributing that information. So the US very much still fighting here. There have been more strikes on Israel, some of which we're just showing you on your screens now. There was Beit Shemesh, that area of Israel. 9 people were killed and dozens injured after an Iranian missile hit a building today. So very much still an active war zone in Beit Shemesh. We learned that news an hour ago. That is right in the center of Israel, the most heavily populated part of the country, towards the east of Ashdod. So very much a central part of the country. Now, there can't be a more unstable scenario for the Middle East right